good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, finally, we're taking a look at NoiseSpace by Igor Vasiliev. It is the tits. It's Oj. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Jade and this is How to App on iOS, and I hope you're doing okay. Okay, let's get into it. It's a really quick show I've got to get through today. Not quick, but I'm on a tight schedule. Why? Because Brad Example, the guy on this t-shirt right here who I'm going to meet at the airport, is about to land in Melbourne from Canada. He's coming to stay with me for 3 weeks. We're going to record an album together. We're going to go and do adventures together. He's a long-time friend, an awesome musician, and I can't wait. He is only now 8, 9, 10. Oh my God, 2 hours away from landing here. And as soon as this stream ends, I'm jumping in an Uber and heading to Melbourne Airport to go and pick him up. Very, very exciting stuff. Can't wait. Super pumped. Also, can't wait for this app today because it is definitely one of my favorites of this year. I'm very, very excited. If you're into noise, horror, soundscapes, drones, any of this kind of stuff, you're going to love this app today. It's really damn cool. Let's say hello to the folks who are here in the chat, and then we'll get down to business because this one may seem like it's a little bit hard, but I'm going to try and walk you through it and help you understand it as best as I can without confusing people. Joe, g'day. Clayton Von Kluge, Jenny Jolivet, Chris CQ, Russ 8889, Herbs I saw in the chat as well. Getting smart. It was a rough start, wasn't it? I hit all the wrong buttons. Do you watch anime? I do. I do watch anime from time to time. Jamie Mallender, thank you for dumping all over me and sending people over to this stream. Thomas Christ is in the house. He's slinging links like he always does because he's a champ. You can do super stickers, all that kind of stuff. Patreon will get you some good prizes. If you join for $5 a month, we give away apps every goddamn week. MC, hello to you. Jenny Jolivet. I know, right? Exciting stuff. Brad's on his way, 2 hours away. Very cool. Pete Johns is up early, must have shit the bed. I don't know what's going on. Or maybe it was that painful stream he did yesterday for his members trying to download those sound packs. You know what? I was supposed to drop a video last night on the GarageBand and Logic new sound packs, but man, all this stuff with Brad getting here, and I had to go out and it's tied me down. But we'll have a couple of videos that I'll drop today in replace of what I missed last night. Ali Grotelout's here. Get it right. Clayton Von Kluge, whose birthday, it says it's his birthday on Facebook, but guess what? It's not. So if you wished him happy birthday, you're a sucker. All right, let's get into it. I hope I haven't missed anyone. I've got a lot to cover today. This app is pretty full on. So we'll Oj straight over to the App Store. See how much it's worth. $15.99. You will get this. Yeah, $15.99. It goes along with Igor's other incredible apps like Loop Mangler, Stellavox, No Input Mixer, Glitchscaper. The list goes on and on. He keeps making great apps that service the noise, drone, soundscapey kind of industry, which, you know, makes me very happy because it is a industry that is full of weirdos. Hello. And Leela's in the chat as well. Leela did a show on this yesterday. We're going to try and top that. Yeah. So $15.99. It's pretty damn cool. What else do I need to cover? Oh, it works on iOS, iPad, iPhone, iPod Touch. Anyone have one of those? Also works on your Mac. So if you've got a Mac as well, this should work there. I'm going to shut up. Let's jump into something that I made with a preset that I made and a couple of other little things. So we'll hit play and let's see what kind of noise this thing makes. Shut up, Jade. All right, some twisted stuff there. So this is a noise generator. Let's clear out this project here. We don't really need this. I'm just going to save it, make sure we're all good. I will save it as a demo 1 because I may use this in the future. So we'll clear this out and let's have a look at how this thing works. So it can be used in 2 ways. We're using AUM today to demonstrate this. Hello to Sean Chandler. Hello, Hottie. What's going on? And if I've missed anyone else, I'm a dick. So it can be used in 2 ways. You can actually load this up as an instrument. So you'll see here NoiseSpace instrument in brackets. It can also be loaded up as, if we go in here, you'll see NoiseSpace and it says music effect. So it can be used as an effect and you can channel music into it to generate stuff as well. We're going to focus firstly on it as an instrument with it generating its own sounds. Now, most people will know with Igor's apps that they can be a little bit intimidating to look at. I love the aesthetic. He's kind of sticks with the same look for all of his noise stuff. It reminds me of a science lab. It just reminds me of dials and stuff like that where you're in a nuclear plant. And I just love it. I'm glad that he doesn't really veer too much away from it. It's not too hard when you get down to it. Plus, he's done something really interesting with this one. He's, instead of filling it up full of presets, where normally you'll come over here and where it says factory in it, this is where your presets will be. And with most of his apps, there's a big list of presets. But in here, there's not too many. There's still a good number of presets that are in here. But he's opted to do something a little bit different. So we'll come back to the presets. What he's done is he's created this button up here that says create. And within this create button is an algorithm that generates a whole bunch of randomization. And it looks like there's been a lot of painstaking work to go in to generate all of these amazing, I'll call them presets. They're not, but they have numbers. So if I hit create, look at that. It has a number, preset 202-503-05-081-252. So it literally has a number. If I hit it again, it's got a new number. So these, I'm guessing, are kind of presets, but they're not. They're randomized presets. And you can hear straight off the bat, wicked. Hit create again. And we're off somewhere else. Feisty Feather, hello. So, just to be clear, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to use this app. The create button is your friend. You are encouraged to use this create button. It is put right there for you to go nuts with. Let's do it again. Let's try it again. And it's rare that you'll get something that's a dud. Now, if you are looking to create intros, soundscapes, horror film stuff, this is perfect for that. So I'm going to clear this out. To clear it, we have our init patch. And if I hit set, we are back at the beginning. So with all of Igor's apps, whenever you choose a patch, so you click on your presets over here, click on it, and you choose one of these, it doesn't start playing. You've got to go up the top here and hit set. And that puts it into action. So this is an actual preset. But if you'd like to skip through the presets without clicking over here, there's these 2 arrows up the top. And you can just switch between them without having to hit that set button. And you can see they're changing up here. The visuals, Hottie, they have a meaning behind them. These are LFOs. We'll get into those soon. How dark is that? So now if I come over here and I hit create, hi Shelley, bang, we've automatically got something. Let's go again. Say I really like this preset. I can save this, yeah? I can save this to my presets folder. I can create my own presets folder. Let's show you to do that. So it gives us, it gives the name here, preset 205. Don't care about that. Now you'll see, when I click on the presets, you can go back and, so this is what you'll normally see, right? These are your presets. If I hit the back button, you'll get this factory folder. Now I created my own folder here by typing group or new. Is that how I did it? Yeah, so I put a preset in there. See how I've just dropped that preset in there, not putting it in a folder? I want to delete that. I don't want it in there. Let's get rid of it. So we'll come back over here. I created my own folder by creating a brand new group. And if I wanted to save that, let's go back over here and hit create. I'm going to go over into my folder. And now if I hit save or new, it's put that preset into my folder. And then I can rename it to whatever I want. Yeah, come in, you just hit rename, call this Dread. And there's my preset that I can go back to anytime in my own folder, yeah? You can favor app presets, delete, rename, you can move them around, you can create new ones, you can export them. I can say, export this entire preset, hit OK, and I can save it somewhere on my iPad and then import it into another iPad, say, yeah? And that's how I brought this preset in. I actually did this on my other iPad and then imported it into the file. Let me show you how I did that. We'll just go back to our initial patch. So we've got no sound, so you're just hearing my horrible voice. Come over here, I'm going to delete this preset here. Click on it and delete it. And we're going to go back and into my folder here. And then I would go into the Files app where I saved this preset. It should be in my Downloads folder. There it is. And there's my preset, Jade Time. Click on it, and there it is. It's imported. And it's been imported into my folder. Easy peasy. So that is a quick look at importing and saving and where presets are and all of that jazz. So let's get into how this thing works. And we're going to start off by talking about just one of these channels. So you've got across the top, pay attention to here, G1, G2, G3, G4, and G5. The G stands for generation, generator. It generates sound. It creates the noise. So there's 5 of these you can run all together. We're going to focus on the first one today, just so you understand all the controls that go on within one of them. And it applies for each one of these, work exactly the same, all 5 of them. So to generate a sound, to kick off, you've got to actually have some volume. If you pay attention just to this strip here, so this is where we're focusing on right now, the level is down. I bring this level up and we've got sound. It's just a drone. It's just a noise. It does nothing else. No movement, no modulation. It's just a noise. Now that we have this turned up, we can solo it. We can mute it. So down the bottom, you've got solo mute for all of these, all the channels. If we solo it, none of these other tracks would play. Unsolo. We can pan it left and right. If you've got headphones on, you'll hear that's gone over to the right now and over to the left. So we've got panning. Double tap on any of these buttons and it will go back to the center, back to where it belongs. If I double tap down here, it goes off, right? And you'll notice a little triangle over here next to the level. Whenever this triangle is active, that means that it's generating sound. So if I turn up number 2, you'll see there's a little triangle lit up. So we've got sound. The first thing is generating. How do we alter this sound? Well, up the top here, look for little triangles. Wherever there's a little triangle normally means there's menu that you can open. So when I click up the top here on G1 main, it opens this crazy menu, and this offers us the chance to really fuck with these tones. And to fuck with your tones, you're going to go across the top from left to right. So the first one is the tone. It's the overall pitch and harmonic content. Now you'll notice as I turn it, it's not smooth. So it's not really melodic. You can't really slide it like it's actually playing a melody or anything like that, because it has these rigid cutoffs. Next to that is the segment. So the segment is the length of each granular. So look at this waveform here. This uses granular synthesis. So when I turn this up, it's going to start granulizing and kind of chopping this little squiggly bit up. And in combination with the tone, it creates some pretty wild things. Next up is, let's bring these back down, is our structure. Now our structure is the sequence of the fragments that are being played within this little squiggly bit here, yeah, of our waveform. And you can see this breaks up the structure and creates almost like these little cities. Looks like little cities and buildings. And further dilation of your segments and tones. We get these crunchy, distorted hellscapes. So let's bring everything back down and we'll talk about our pulse. Pulse is the frequency of the switching between the fragments. Let's see what the pulse does. So again, in combination, double tap, bring them all back to 0. Then we have our morph button. So this is the morphing of the original simplex noise. So we're using simplex noises. You can look that up if you want to find out what that's all about. And lastly, we have our stereo width. You can hear that widen out as we turn it up. So it splits into your stereo. Bring it back down. You can hear it go back into mono in headphones. So that is how you generate a tone. Let's just come over here for a second and just level down. But within each of these generations are 2 tones. So that's our tone, but you also have a background sound. So I'm going to open this up again. And this time, I'm going to turn up this knob over here. This says background. So you can see we've got this is our sound, our original tone. Over here is our filter. It says filter, generator 1 filter, background, gate, and background modulation. So if I turn up this level, we're going to get a drone. Now this is a background sound. And where's this background sound? How do we control this? Up here on the top here where it says background, this is our level. When it's turned all the way to the right, we can only hear the background. And when it's turned all the way to the left, we can only hear the tone. So there's 2 sounds within each generation. Now let me bring up the generator. Now you're only hearing the generator, the first tone. If I change this, now we're hearing the background and the generator. Now if I turn it all the way to the right, now we're just hearing the background. Let's focus on the background for a bit, because this crush button really takes the background somewhere else. Depending on if you turn it right or left, let's go right first and see what it does. Now remember, these are independent sounds. Let's bring back in the tone. So let's stay focused on the background at the moment, because underneath the background we have the ability to modulate this. And you'll see here it says mod, background modulation. We can send this modulation to the crush, turn up our depth and rate, and you'll notice this has now got movement. So we now are modulating this background. And then when we bring in our original tone, we're starting to get movement happening. All right, let's stick with the background. So we've got movement happening over here. Now I want to show you something really cool. So with Igor's, God, why can't I think? Get it together, Jade. Get your brain together. I don't know why it stopped there. I just had a brain melt. With StellarVox, which is a reverb kind of thing. One of his reverb apps. What happened? Where'd all my sounds go? That sucks. I have to start that again. Well, let's go over here. I don't know why that did that. Bizarre. Let's bring that sound back in. We'll bring up our background. Modulation. So we're back here. We've got our background level running. We've got it modulating up here. What you can also do is with StellarVox, StellarVox uses convolution reverb, right? So if you know anything about convolution reverb, whenever you change a setting in convolution reverb, it stops. It has to stop for a moment. The sound has to cut out while it calibrates, recalculates, and then it can generate a sound. Well, with our background section here, these options down here, they work the same as a convolution reverb. So if I turn up this density knob, see how it stopped? And then had to recalibrate, and then comes back. Same with the gain and frequency. And we have a bunch of different presets we can have in here. Let's click type 3. Try type 5. Let's move our crush, get more of an industrial kind of sound. Plus we also have a filter here. So we can really filter out the high tones. And now if we reintroduce our original tone, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to go back and focus on the original tone, not the background. So remember, we've turned this all the way to the left so the background noise is gone. We also have in this whole setup here, let's change this tone out a bit. We have a filter down here. Now, if I turn the frequency here, nothing's happening. We're not getting any changes. Nothing's happening there because we need to choose a filter. And you can see none is selected here. We've got low pass, high pass, band pass, notch, formant. Let's choose a formant. We've got a resonance, or it's a bandwidth. If we choose something like a low pass, we've got frequency and resonance. We've got a low crush. We've got a ring pass. Now, check this out. So we've got this gate here. Now this works as almost like a envelope follower kind of thing. So you'll notice when I turn up the gate, the frequency changed here. And we can start modulating this if I remember how to do it. Dickhead. We want to go, so we can actually send this gate out to our background or to our main. All right, so if we want to control and get this modulating, we can do this down here. We've got repeats. So you can see, as I just turn on the repeats, we now have this modulating, right? So our gate sends modulation stuff out to our filter. We can hit continue or just gate, hold. I like this repeat. We've got an attack and release, so we can decide how fast the attack is, how long the release is. And now we've got this modulating and we've got this modulating over here as well. So a whole lot of modulation stuff you can do. Triggers. Let's talk about triggers. So over here with our original sound, we have an output and a background, and both of these are set to trigger at the moment. When they are set to trigger, this allows you to use the gating And it allows you to use the sequencer. We haven't gotten to the sequencer yet. Once we get to the sequencer, shit gets really gnarly. If I've got trigger set, it allows me to use both the gate and the sequencer. If I choose gate, I can only use the gate. So now only this is being used. If I choose on, we're just getting a flat sound. Just a continuous sound. And the same thing for the background. If I introduce the background now, let's bring our background back into it. We'll even out those sounds. So we've gone from just having just a boring sound to now having something that's moving around, making some kind of movement, yeah? Hello, Javelle and Queen, what's happening? Let's talk about modulation, LFOs. You notice these little square boxes? Every one of the generators has one. When I click on it, it opens up 2 LFOs. You can send these LFOs to anywhere within here. So we can start modulating all these sections here. Let's do it. Let's set a modulation. Click on the box, choose. Now, the modulators work in a vertical and a horizontal. So I'm going to send this first one to our morph. I'm going to choose a exponential and turn these up. And you'll see this start to move. We're getting modulation. And let's send this one maybe to the tone, just to be really crazy. And we'll keep it on a sine wave. And you can see it takes the vertical and the horizontal and starts drawing these shapes as a representation of what's going on with the LFO. We also have some randomization in here, which will mix things up a little bit. And the really cool thing is, you don't need to open this up each time. Underneath here, you've got your vertical and your horizontal, so you can quickly just choose something else. Yeah, you can come in here, choose tone, change this one to filter. All right, so before we get into the sequencer, let's jump across to our second generator, because all this, I'm sure this is all quite overwhelming. Yeah, it is quite an overwhelming thing. And as I said in the beginning, you have the power to just create at your leisure and just create some really good stuff with the create button. But there's a whole lot of randomization stuff in here that will help you. Oh, thank you for reminding me, Ali. I'll do the ad. But I've got 20 minutes spare. I've got to get all this covered. Ouch. You can avoid the ad by becoming a YouTube Premium subscriber or by skipping the ad. The ad has been run. And there you go. So let's just continue on, because I don't have time to tell you what's coming up tomorrow. Just let me tell you, Brad's going to be here in like under 2 hours. And he's going to be coming on the show a whole lot. this week. We got a couple of shows with me and Brad, rock and roll stories from the road. We're going to be talking about physical health on Thursday if you're in the US and UK. So you won't want to miss that one. All right. You can come in here and you can create individual tones just by coming to, so each of these generators have an options button down the bottom. And this is where your randomization is. If I click options down the bottom here, you'll see randomize all, randomize sound, randomize generation, randomize mod values, randomize mod all, copy, paste, init, and swap out. If I hit random all and solo this, we just got a new sound. It just gave us a whole set of values. If I come down here again, hit random all, brand new sound. So you can randomize individual tracks. Now if we bring in our original one, so you can see I can start building things up. Let's solo this new track. I'm going to now do randomize sound. And this will just change out the sound. Do it again. We can randomize the generation. We can randomize the mod values. So this is just the values of the modulation. So you can see that change really sharply. We can randomize all the modulation. And here's where it gets really fun. We can come down here and hit copy, then click over to the next channel and hit paste. So we can copy and paste these across to each other. There's an init patch. This will just bring it back to 0. And this one's super fun. This is called swap out. When I click on this, notice up here, this change from G2 main to G2 background. And what that does is it swaps. Let me turn that down a bit. It swaps out the background from the original noise sound. So they've been switched around. If we come back over here and swap them out again. Now the tone is kind of the main tone and the background's the background. So you can come in and swap them out at any time. And then randomize, swap. So there's so much randomization. Sounds like Doctor Who. Okay, let's come back to the start. Oh, I've got some buzzing in my ears. Don't know what that is. I'm going to just there we go. Let's wait. Oh, it's because I had that open in the background. Let's go over here. So let's talk about the sequencer. So this is possibly the hardest part of this. I know you're probably going, but what about all the rest? Just remember, you can generate whatever you want. So let's come over here and generate just a sound. So we're going to keep it nice and simple. Over here is our sequencer. Now there are two types of sequencers in here. This one says CNT. And we all know what that stands for. Cunt. Anyway. So, we've got our sound here. Now you'll notice underneath there's these 3 buttons that say on. Right? They all say on. These work with the sequencer. There's 2 types of sequencers. There's the CNT. So all the way down to, and take a look at the lights here. So you'll see this one's flashing really fast. This one's flashing a little bit less fast. And as you go down to 16, this one's really long. So this is working in beats, I do believe. But if I switch this to sequence, now you'll see they're moving 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're moving down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this is your standard sequencer. And when I click back over here to CNT, we've got these. So this is binary. We're working in binary bytes here. And in sequence, we're working in a normal sequencer. So these are the 2 options that you have here. Let's start with binary. Now, if I take this sound, click on where it says on, and choose CNT, an 1/8, it's flashing in the 1/8 of that beat. Now, if I choose the next one as maybe half, it's now playing playing it every half, but it's playing the 1/8 above. So you should be able to hear that. It's going to, but it's only doing it in half intervals. If I go down here and add like an 8, there's less time. So you can get some really crazy sequences in here. If I say bring this up to like a, we'll do a quarter. So you can get some interesting kind of, you know, this is rhythmic stuff that you're able to create with this. Let's change that sound out a little bit. And we'll bring in the background. So now we've got a background underneath it. All the stuff we've learnt already. Let's modulate this crush. And the sequencer is doing its thing. It's creating this mad laboratory. And the cool thing is, see how this is set to an 1/8? If we choose a lower one, this is a division. So now it's half that. Then we can go half again. So it's a half of what we have selected up here. I know it's a little bit full on. And we can go even half again than that. Now, if we introduce a new sound over here with a random, so we've got this doing its sequence stuff. We have jitters as well. So let me explain. Because I can come in here and change these out to a jitter. I can change 4 to an error. And let me read this out. So the jitter, the step when the bit is active turning on this step, it is delayed. So it's a little bit delayed. It's delayed by a random amount each time when it's changed to a jitter. So you can hear it's kind of jittering a little bit sometimes. And error is completely random. So it's like a randomized, you've got a 15% chance that it's going to actually play this fourth one here. And you can change this by changing it to 50%. So it's now, this note here only has a 50% chance of playing each time it comes around. So there's a fuckload of randomization. All right, let's move over to, because as I said, we're working right now with binary. When I change this to sequence, you'll notice these buttons changed to sequence 1, 3, and 4. Now we are in sequence mode. So this is running down the line. Let's clear it and show you what I mean. Let's just bring up a tone. Let's move into sequence mode. Whoops, what happened? Choose sequence, and I'm going to choose 1, 4, and 6. So every time it hits 4, 6, it plays the note. 1, 4, 6. 1, 4, 6. And again, I can change the divisions of this and halve it. So they're playing longer notes now each time. Halve it again. So it's taking more time to play these notes. If I go down to even like a 2, we're going to get really long notes. And again, you can change these to jitters. So we're just getting a flat sound now because it's so long. Let's come back to a sequence 1. And again, I can change these to jitters or errors. So it may or may not play. And again, let's just change up the tone. Random stuff. We'll give it, bring in some background. We'll modulate. We'll use the gate over here. So earlier I said, out here with this out, if this is set to trigger, the way it works, this can get the gating is working in conjunction with the sequencer. So these gating of the filter is working in conjunction with the sequencer. But if I change this to gate, these now get ignored, right? And I'm running out of time. I've only got 6 minutes to explain. I think I've covered most of it. You've got some, if you want to stop the sequencer at any time, you just hit stop and the sequence is gone, yeah? You've got mutes down here for the main background. So we can mute the background. We can mute everything. So you've got mutes everywhere, yeah? Options. Lastly, you can do a random binary CNT. You can do a random sequence. Or you can just hit create and enjoy the sounds that it makes. Either way, This app is here for you to fuck around with and have fun with and create wild noise, yeah? So try not to be intimidated too much. Igor has given you all the tools to create and just go bonkers and see what works, yeah? Over here we've got some output levels, so you can change. You've got an EQ, so low, got some gain. You can change the frequency. We've got a bandwidth here, so middle or wide. Lots of randomization, lots of fun to have. And the last thing I want to show you, we'll just mute this. The last thing I want to show you is you can send sounds through it. So if I just create something really quick, we'll create a MIDI track and we'll come over here. We'll load up Harmony Bloom because that's really easy. It generates notes. You can put your voice through it. You can put a guitar through it. You can put anything through this, right? So I'm just going to do a generation over here. We'll make this loop length about 32. Make them long notes. And I'm just going to put a piano in over here, yeah? Just a simple piano. And if I hit play, are we good? Are we connected? Connect to the piano. Right, so we've got sound. So as I said in the beginning, remember you can load this as an instrument. So let's load it as a effect instead of an instrument. And as soon as I load it, the sound disappears. So up here, where it says CNT, you'll notice there's an input. If I select input, everything changes now to allow me to accept the sound. And to do that, you've got down the bottom here, distort off. You choose track 1 and turn it up. And now we have our piano coming through here and we can go in and then we can add an LFO. So let's do a random LFO, random modulation. And now we've got a voice, a guitar, anything you want, you can put through this and generate crazy tones. We've got a frequency over here and a bandwidth. We can turn on the filter on and off. I can't remember what, I think this is AGC. I can't remember what it is. I need to look. I'm doing my best, folks. Input. Input. So we've got stereo or mono. AGC stands for automatic gain control. So you can add a fast gain control. You can also have 2 instruments coming through here. If we turn this one up, I can put something else through here by choosing G1 and G2. Now we've got the same thing coming through and we can randomize the shit out of this. Let's randomize the mod. And you can still use your sequencer, right? So we can still use the sequence stuff. So now, this is the same sound coming through 2 channels. Just be aware, you can only use 2 channels. Over here, see this, G1 and G2, you can only use 2 channels if you're putting input, but you can at least use 2 channels. Let's bring that back up. Wild stuff. Quickly generate one more channel over here. Now, I'm sure I've missed out a whole lot of little buttons and stuff, but it is what it is, yeah? In an hour, I've tried to cover as much as you can. The thing is, have fun, create noise. Don't get weighed down by it's overwhelming, yeah? You can do it. You can do anything. You know, these apps are for you to play with and have fun with. Don't look at them and get scared by them. I didn't even read the manual. Yeah? Just played around and worked it out. Just have fun. All right, got to get out of here. Leela's up next. I'm sorry I've gone over time by a minute. I'm going to dump you over to our good friend, the Leelaverse. She's going to do some stuff with StreamYard, I think, today. I've got to jump on in an Uber and go and pick up Brad from the airport. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Hit the like, do the subscribe, all that fancy stuff if you're watching on the replay. Love you lots. We'll be back tomorrow taking a look at FabFilter's Pro Q4. And as I always say, do the things that make you happy, folks. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together. Stay awake and let's fucking OJ.